Hello everyone, thank you so much for tuning into Carol's Daily Sauce. You guys, I do want to say, excuse me, my allergies are starting to act up again, and so I've got a bit of the scratchy throat, but I'm here and I wanted to talk about something that I actually became aware of probably within the last few days, thanks to my cousin. And this particular story is not a reaction video. It's not something that's happened in the entertainment news. This is along the lines of another injustice for us as people of color. So the story that I'm referring to is the story out of Louisville, Kentucky, in which there was a 20-something, I'm going to say, I want to say 25 or 26-year-old young lady who resided in an apartment complex in Louisville, Kentucky. And her name was Breonna Taylor. Breonna Taylor was a frontliner. She was a frontliner, and I use was as past tense as she is no longer with us. Breonna, and I pray that I'm pronouncing her name right, no disrespect to those that are no longer here with us, was actually shot and killed in her apartment. What is said to have initially happened is that Breonna and her boyfriend were in the household sleep. The boyfriend, who I will probably name later on, let's see, do I have his name? I actually don't have his name, but I can do another video on this because I want some interaction with this. I really, really do. Her and her boyfriend were sleeping in the house. Anybody with common sense knows the different stages of sleep we go through during the night, and anybody knows that if you're in a good sleep and someone wakes you up out of sleep, there are some consequences that are going to initially come from that. One of those consequences, or one of those emotions that we'll have at that time, being fear. So Breonna's boyfriend, who is a registered gun owner, okay, he is registered to carry a gun in Louisville, Kentucky, pulls out the gun and attempts to protect he and his girlfriend. As at the front door, there is a lot of chaos and a ramming at the front door in order to get inside of the apartment. So there are no announcements being made as to who you are or who you are looking for. All they know, they being Breonna and her boyfriend, is that someone is trying to break in here. And anybody knows that if you're in your house and someone is trying to break in your house and you're not instilled with fear because you don't have a way or a means to protect yourself, you're going to protect yourself if you have that protection. So her boyfriend ended up shooting, and unfortunately, one of the guns hit one of the supervisors or one of the detectives that was on the scene. As a result of that, gunshots were just blasted in the house, and Breonna was shot over 8 times. It is said that there were a plethora of gunshot rounds. Breonna, I am not going to disrespect her or her mother or her family members and say only, Breonna was shot 8 times by the police as they entered her household. Now, this is the crazy thing about it. Here is the twist. They didn't announce who they were coming in. They didn't announce their purpose. All they did was ram the door in a raid to try to gain access to get into the apartment. Now, we already know that they've gotten in, they've gained entry, they've shot and killed Breonna because she's laying dead on the floor in her underwear with 8 bullets riddled all throughout her body. But get this, it's now being said that the detectives that were doing the raid mistakenly entered the wrong apartment. Okay? Wait, so you're going to tell me that this was an actual drug raid and that y'all had to get in there? So y'all had to get in there. Come to find out, they mistakenly went into the wrong actual house. And here we have a 26-year-old young lady who is no longer with us due to, I don't even want to say mistaken identity. This was just a whole mistaken address, a whole big mess. This was just a mess. And then, to add further insult to injury, once they gained entry into the house, they then said what they were there for, that it was a drug raid, that they had a search warrant, and that the search warrant that they had turned out that there were no illegal drugs found in Breonna's apartment. So the police went to the wrong house. Then on top of that, it was found out that the suspect that they were actually looking for was already in jail. He was already in custody. What? So you went into the wrong house or the wrong apartment. You didn't announce your purpose until you gained entry. And then we find out, wrong house, and the suspect that you were actually looking for is already in custody. So, long story short, Breonna Taylor's family is suing. And I'm quite sure suing the Louisville Police Department for everything they got. I'm quite sure they are. Now, it has been said that Louisville, Kentucky has a very bad reputation anyway where it comes to people of color. Meaning, people of color don't get the same rights as those that are Caucasian and otherwise. So the family is suing. They are asking for a jury by trial. They are livid, which they have every right to be. Here this lady is an EMT technician going out on the front line. So if she's an EMT technician, she could have very well made contact with those that may have been suffering from the symptoms of COVID-19. She could have been very well one of those who helped somebody who was a victim of, a heart attack or something like that. So, essential worker. Okay, this is an essential worker, and you were busted in her house and literally killed her for nothing. So the police department is claiming that the officers blindly fired into the household. This is what Breonna Taylor's family is claiming, that the police officers blindly shot into the household without any regard, total disregard for the value of a human life. That's just like those in gangs or drug dealers and how they go and they just shoot into an area, okay? Now, I also heard that when the police officers blindly shot into the apartment, because apartments are so closely next to one another, whether they be on top or on the bottom or left or right hand side, they're still in close proximity. And because they're in close proximity, when you shoot into that household, there's a good possibility that others in other households can be affected. And they were. There was a bullet that entered into the room of a 5-year-old child in the apartment next door. Thank God nothing happened to the young lady. To make a very, very long story short, because I don't want to make my videos long, Breonna Taylor's boyfriend, who was in the apartment with her at the time of the incident, thought that they were being robbed. As I said in the beginning, imagine you being asleep and woke up abruptly in the middle of the night in your sleep. You're startled, you're shocked, you don't know what's going on because you were sleeping. So he reached for his gun and he fired, okay? He fired as they forcefully entered. As I said, they did not mention, according to him, they did not mention what their purpose was for gaining entry into the household until they were actually in it and Breonna Taylor was already dead. But get this, on top of all of the foolery that I have told you guys about this case actually took place in March of 2020. So it's a fairly, I don't want to say it's an old case, but it's an old case in the sense of it hasn't happened within the last couple of days, within the last month, or within the last couple of weeks, if you know what I mean. It doesn't lessen the severity. The severity of this case is real. A life was lost unnecessarily, and some answers need to be made available to the Taylor family. They haven't heard anything. All they've heard is what comes out on the news, and it's very limited. No one has taken the time to come and say, our condolences, we believe this is what happened. The only thing that has happened is this. Breonna Taylor is deceased. Her boyfriend, who was in the apartment at the time of the incident, has been arrested and is being held and charged with attempted murder of a police officer. Mind you, they did not announce that they were police officers at I guess 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. They haven't had the decency, the police department, to talk to the Taylor family. Thank goodness for Crump. Ben Crump is a very prominent defense attorney, and he worked and has worked with several other cases where there has been racism involved. And he is actively working with the Taylor family's attorneys to kind of rectify this. Not rectify this in the sense of monetarily, because no matter what amount of money they get back, they'll never get back Breonna. But what he's doing is he's trying to make everything plain, put everything down on the table. They're working together so that the family can have some sort of closure. Now, to add further insult to injury, those police officers who stormed in this house and unjustly murdered this 26-year-old young lady were put on administrative leave. But they were only put on administrative leave from that case. They were reassigned to other cases so that they could continue on their foolery. The Taylor family is extremely hurt They have no closure. They're angry, and reasonably so, okay? Reasonably so. As I said before, they are demanding a trial by jury. Taylor's mother, her name is Tamika Palmer, has claimed that no one from the police department has talked to him as of yet. She has been on, I believe, The Talk. She has been on the show with Whoopi Goldberg. This is crazy. And basically all Miss Palmer is saying is she doesn't know why her daughter was even targeted. Now, as I said, I heard a little bit here, there, and everywhere as I searched it, as I Googled it. And what we found out is that Breonna Taylor's boyfriend was friends with the young man that is now in jail, or who had already been in jail, that they were looking for. He was friends. So because he's friends, you're gonna bust into their house and do what? Because they're friends. That's crazy. I guess they assume that birds of a feather flock together. I don't know. Either way, it's wrong. And Tamika Palmer wants answers. She wants justice for her daughter. She wants to know why she's even in this position. Y'all know what? The Louisville, Kentucky Police Department hasn't made any comments other than to say all of the comments that we have made are the only ones that we will be able to make. And that basically is an EMT technician was mistakenly murdered when they entered her household, and it's under further investigation. Now, what y'all gonna do? Y'all gonna put some more racist police officers in to handle the case? See, my husband and I were talking about it, and I told my husband, when you have situations like this where there are rumors that there are racism problems, and it's all over the world. It's not only in Louisville, Kentucky. It's all over the world. I live in California. It's here. It's in New York. It's in Texas. It's in Arizona. It's in Alaska. Racism exists. But I'm going to tell you something. Whether or not racism exists, lives shouldn't be taken, and they shouldn't be taken, lives shouldn't be taken from or by the hands of any man, except, in my opinion, when you are in imminent danger. If you are in danger and you have to protect yourself, you have to protect yourself in order to save your life or to save the life of a loved one, I understand that. I wholeheartedly understand that. I don't understand busting into someone's house and shooting like you crazy. Now, we do know that police officers, whenever someone shoots first, they always go in on them. We know that. I mean, I don't know if you guys know it or not, but in the city in which I live near, there was a Walmart, and there was a gentleman who went, it was all over the news, I'm sure you guys heard it, and there was a gentleman who went into the Walmart with a bat. All he was doing was going down to the pharmacy to pick up his medication. Walking around with a bat, it was obvious that he needed medication. So some hot lip wanted to say something to him about his bat, and basically all he said is, "Leave me alone. I'm just trying to go get my medicine." And you guys know what? It was this big, long, drawn out thing where they, meaning people in the Walmart, went to attack him, and he lost it. He was about to beat people all upside their head with the bat, okay? Do I think it's appropriate for anybody to go into the store, any store with a bat? No, because people tend to think, okay, this person is going to pop me in the head. I mean, so I understand that, but I also don't think it's right that this gentleman got shot by a taser. And as he was being shot by the taser, they actually had to use every bit of taser they had, and he was still coming toward them. So they shot him. They should have shot him in both his legs and he could have fallen down. But no, they shot him and continued to shoot him and continued to shoot him and continued to shoot him. And then when it stood over him and shot him, and I want y'all to know, he was African American, a man of color, and they were not. That's all I'm going to say about that. So racism does exist. It's not acceptable. It's ridiculous. You know, my thing is, if you don't like somebody, you just don't like them. Just don't fool with them. Leave them alone. So this case is just a whole entire mess. I want you guys to do one favor for me. I'd like to go live today. However, I don't want to go live and be talking to Carol herself and I don't want to talk to myself. That never happens to me, by the way, but I don't want that to happen. I don't too much like to do lives on Saturday because everybody does. So I don't want to dip into that pond. But I just want to know if you guys want to have a live and discuss this. It's so sad. It's so sad. And I don't know where I've been. I have streaming TV where I actually can have news. I have news updates on my phone that come all the time. And I don't know how this got past me. I really don't. I don't know how it got past me. But I'm very, very thankful that I'm able to do a video on it, because this is something that every content creator needs to. When stuff like this happens, this is the opportunity for us just to put it out there. Not so that you can get a lot of views, but put it out there to put shame to that police department and to those police officers who are doing unjust things. So when my husband and I were talking, he was like, well, you know, it's been said that their Louisville Police Department has been shisty and wrong for a long time. And I said, you know what they're going to have to do? They are going to have an investigation, but not an investigation with the people that currently work there. I don't care whether you were one of the police officers who shot or not. You're probably still corrupt. So they need to bring someone in. And as we were listening to the news, that is exactly what they said. I might add that I am studying criminal justice, so I kind of know where that stuff kind of goes. But just wanted to share that with you all. Put in the comments what you think. Put in the comments whether or not you'd like for me to do a live, and maybe we can discuss this and some other things. It won't definitely be about this. And I probably will put some information about a live on my community page, excuse me, on my community tab, so that you all can take a look at it. But let me know what you're thinking. I want to hear from y'all. I miss you guys so much. And I know we're still going through this trying time, but we'll get over this. This too shall pass. But I want you, that beautiful person that is listening to this audio recording, to remember, you are the only you that you can be, the best you that you can be. Do it with greatness. I love you guys. I continue to pray for you, and be safe. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.